A battle of two of the sides in the top four in the USL Championship Western Conference. As tonight, Fresno FC play host to Real Monarchs. Tonight's match is brought to you by El Mexicano. Chris Whittingham alongside Gary Bailey for commentary of this one. And Gary, both these sides come in on the back of victories and with strikers in form. As we move now to our players to watch, presented by Onakar Fresno. Onakar Fresno, drive with style. Let's start first with Fresno FC's Jaime Chavez.
He's in wonderful form at the moment. Scored the equalizer in the last match against OKC from the corner, just hovering there at the far post. And before that, against Las Vegas, he got two, so you can't get a man in better form than Jaime Chavez.
Now up to 6 goals for the year. He'll lead the line tonight for Fresno FC, and he's our player to watch for them. As for Real Monarchs, a key figure returning tonight from international duty, Douglas Martinez, and his 9 goals return to the side tonight.
Yeah, 22-year-old, very quick, Honduras under-23 international, and he's been missed with his goals, 9 in 15, as you said. That's a really good return. So a man that Fresno will have to watch very carefully. He is a super talent.
And 6 assists to boot as well, returning from the Pan American Games, where he's playing with Honduras. Transitioning to our road to victory, brought to you by Travel Shop. How can each of these sides earn the 3 points tonight, Gary?
Well, for Fresno, they had some good set-piece play last time out against OKC. The first goal coming from the corner, as mentioned, Chavez at the far post. The second, a free kick, and Del Campo, of all people, getting on the second ball. So it doesn't matter how you score. If you can take them from the set pieces, that's awesome. And for Real Monarchs, will improve their road form. Just 2 wins in the last 10 on the road in USL. 3 draws and 5 losses. That's 9 points from 30 on the road. That's not good enough for a side that is packed with great young talent.
And trying to get higher up the table as well, create some distance between them and the traveling pack in the West. Fresno in the middle, their best stretch as a club, 7 wins and 8 pit against the Real Monarchs this evening from the Chuck Chansey Park. Starting lineups and first half kickoff is next. Live scenes from the Chuck Chansey Park on a Fuego Friday in Fresno. We are in the match presented by El Mexicano. Fresno FC, only 3 losses on the year from 22 matches, sitting comfortably in 3rd in the Western Conference, taking on Real Monarchs. Chris Whittingham, Gary Bailey here for commentary of this one as we bring you our starting lineups. They're brought to you by El Mexicano. A pair of changes, Gary, for Adam Smith's Fresno FC.
Yes, Gems. Jeff Rod comes in for Alex Cooper, the Haiti international, defensively minded. So you can see more or less what Coach Adam Smith has on mind. Just the one striker, Chavez, and behind him, the other change, Juan Pablo Caffa in for Kudus Luwal. So you take out a goal scorer and bring in a creator. So very much a sort of a, I guess, 5 defensive players, 4 mid, and maybe Chavez up front. And that's playing at home. So you can see the coach really concerned about this Real Monarchs side.
Yeah, Real Monarchs put 4 past Tulsa Roughnecks, make a few changes, including a Real Monarchs debut for Kellen Rowe.
Yeah, Kellen Rowe in for Palmer, probably Schmidt from Mulholland, and Douglas Martinez back. He replaces Herman up front. He's back from international duty. Defense unchanged, but as you can see, those 3 changes in the midfield and attack.
Kellen Rowe on 220 MLS appearances in his career for New England Revolution and Sporting Kansas City. Has bounced around, though, in the last couple of years, trying to find a home with the Real Salt Lake setup. And here in USL Championship for Jamison Olaves, Real Monarchs, the interim manager, taking charge of yet another match after Martin Vasquez departed on July the 1st. The first of 2 coaching changes in the Real setup. Matchday referee is Matthew Thompson, about ready to get us started here from the Chuck Chansey Park. Fresno FC and Real Monarchs. And it is indeed Fresno FC 3rd, Real Monarchs 4th in the USL Western Conference tonight from the Chuck Chansey Park. For the hosts, they arrive off a successful trip to Oklahoma City. Jaime Chavez and Ramon Martin Del Campo clawing the Foxes back from 1-0 down to win by 2-1 away to Oklahoma City Energy. It's now 7 wins and 8 for assuredly playoff-bound Fresno Real Monarchs on their travels in after dealing Tulsa Roughnecks a 4-1, hammering goals of all shapes and sizes. Their clean sheet denied in second half stoppage time. Should be a great game between 2 of the top 4 sides in the Western Conference.
And if you look at their form, Fresno 7 wins in 8, 5 straight at home. So you've got to fancy them and know exactly how to play on this baseball pitch. They're very comfortable.
And it's over the top in the penalty area for Elijah Martin, who had come forward, slots in that bottom corner with the offside flag up against the left wing back.
Well, as I was talking them up about how good they are, they score even though it hasn't been allowed. But yeah, at home, absolutely superb, which is interesting to see that Adam Smith has gone with a slightly more defensive-minded team against Jamison Olaves. Very, very talented Real Monarchs side, who, by the way, away from home have not been good. 2 wins in 10, and Coach Olave just telling us during the week that that is a concern for them. They're very well aware of it. They need a change in mentality. And he says with that change in mentality, he believes the results will follow.
Mentioned their away form. Very strong at home, including last time out against Tulsa. 8 wins from 11 at home and 25 points in total. Real Monarchs a side that also can hit the goals. Below Fresno in the table would have scored more than 2 goals per game for Real Monarchs as they now come forward wearing the white tonight. Fresno normally wearing blue at home, but wearing their red chain strip here on a Fuego Friday as Juan Pablo Caffa getting it cleared there. Trying to win the header, James Giffrard. Be a throw in here to Fresno FC.
And Smith just pointing the finger there and just getting his team organized. What a fantastic run they have had with those 7 wins in 8 games and sitting in 3rd position, and a win pushes them even further up. I mean, it looks like A, they're almost certain to make the playoffs, but B, they could do so in a very good position to go on and give themselves a great chance at glory, big-time glory this season. And the coach delighted that in this his 2nd season, that things are really coming together.
And it will take some doing for Fresno FC to get into the top 2. Reno 1868 and Phoenix Rising currently holding those 2 places. But tonight, Phoenix and Reno are playing against each other, so one of them will drop points and a chance for Fresno to potentially move into that top 2, which allow them to at least host through the semifinal round of the postseason. As it stands, they're comfortably in the postseason, 13 points clear of San Antonio in 11th, and also 11 points clear of Portland Timbers 2 in 7th, which would guarantee them passage through the first round of the postseason. As we do see, it is a back 3 tonight for Fresno FC. An interesting tactical change for Adam Smith. For you, is it recognition of the opposition or perhaps just trying a new look, something different that maybe they could use in the postseason if needed?
Yeah, and could even be both. It certainly is a very good Real Monarch side they're playing, although, as we said already, not so good away from home. On the road, they've really struggled, but Adam Smith perhaps aware that they are a decent side. Again, maybe just trying things up. And it does surprise me because Kudos Luar has been such a good goal scorer. He's been banging them in the back of the net, and you take out a natural goal scorer and you bring on Juan Pablo Caffa as more of a creator, playing that number 10 role. So it's a different style team, but I think they're going to just sit a little bit deeper today and play on not so much the counter, but play with less focus on attack and more on dominating the game. And Jaime Chavez will have to keep his form going. He's the only natural goal scorer there. Although, I guess Jamal Johnson was saying, hang on a second, I've scored 7. Don't exclude me, but Jaime Chavez, 3 goals in the last couple of games. He really is on form.
His ball is hit over the top. Ellis Hayden to take out of the air. The right-footed cross is into the penalty area and cut out by Noah Powder, out for a corner to Fresno FC.
Well, they scored from a corner last weekend and from a free kick away at OKC Fresno, so they realize the importance of set pieces, and if you have to win a game using them, well, absolutely, why not? By the way, Del Campo getting the winner. Wouldn't have put money on that. Big centre back, playing a crucial role last week against OKC.
His second season, getting his second goal for the club, is try and get on the other end of this corner, whipped in by Kafa. Mickey Daly closest to it, but away from Real Monarchs. Tate Schmidt now trying to win it for the visitors. Ball there from Suleiman Samura, playing it for Jeffrar. A couple of players who are new into the side. Jeffrar on his first start. Samura on his second. It's down the line here for Hiroki Kurimoto, the Japanese international, laying off with Kafa. Right-footed delivery towards Chavez, flicking on towards Elijah Martin, but doing just enough to deal with it. Real Monarchs now Kellen Rowe to start the breakout. Sliding into the path of Douglas Martinez, the Honduran international, now to pick out the cross. It's in towards that near post. Getting to it, Del Campo, nearly an own goal, but eventually away by Jeffrar.
Campo doing really well. CJ was behind him, and it looked like potentially for a moment, might even been an own goal or a real mess up in defense, but Del Campo deals with it. Saves the day there for Fresno.
Be a throw in here to Fresno as Samura, Jamal Johnson, and Chavez doing just about enough to keep that counter-attack going. There's James Alave, the longtime veteran of Major League Soccer, over 200 MLS appearances, having a second spell in charge of this club. Took over from Mark Briggs a year ago, now taking over from Martin Vasquez as it comes for the Real Monarchs goalkeeper David Ochoa.
It's always a difficult time when you're an ex-player who's been around a long time and you've seen the match from your perspective on the pitch and been a good player, and it's been relatively easy, to being a coach and being on the outside looking in and trying to direct the play of others. It takes a mental shift, and it does take a while to get your head around it.
One back by Zach Ellis Hayden in the center of the park as Elijah Martin lays off here with Samura. And while it does look as a back three, those wing backs certainly do get forward, and it does seem more like they're defending with 3 rather than 4.
Zach Ellis Hayden can cause all sorts of problems down the right, bombs down, puts good ball in, and the right is more like a winger at times, just applauding the ball that was meant for him but didn't find him. Now they've lost the ball altogether by the looks of it. But it's a good stretch, and that's what Adam Smith likes to do, is knock the ball from one side to the other, pulls the opposition all over the place, and if you can do it properly, it can be very effective.
Jack Blake and Kalen Ryden in the side tonight arrive after making USL Team of the Week. Ryden in that central defensive partnership, Blake in the middle, scoring a cracking free kick goal into the top corner for Real Monarchs. Is trying to flick on down the line there, Steve Jasso. Now Chang trying to hit it towards Martinez, but it took a nick on the way through and settles kindly for CJ Cochran. And if you know, Martin Del Campo has played every minute this Fresno FC season.
There's big Jeffrard there, and you asked me earlier about why they're playing 3 at the back. In fact, they brought Jeffrard on in the second half of the last match against OKC, and he really helped them win and deal with the high ball.
And now Kellen Rowe tries to hit it on the volley, but draws the jeers from the Fresno supporters in behind that goal.
And rightly so, it wasn't even close. That was just a swing and a hit and hope. But just mentioned that Jeffrard came on in the second half and really made things solid for Fresno. I think that obviously appealed to Adam Smith. He thought, hang on a second, we were under a bit of pressure, bring him on and we can cope with the pressure. And obviously, if you don't give anything away, if you keep a clean sheet, you've got every chance of winning a game. So that's why that man there has got the start here tonight.
You have a full senior international as well. You want to give him an opportunity at least starting for a Haiti side that performed admirably at the Gold Cup. Well, Jamal Johnson. Ellis Hayden. Now going to play the 1-2 with Kurimoto. Nice return ball. Now Ellis Hayden to pick out the cross. It's towards that back post. Arriving is Kafa across the penalty area. Didn't quite catch it cleanly, but it fell kindly for the Argentinian, as now Jack Blake going to try and catch the goalkeeper off his line, and always going wide.
Yeah, that one Pablo Kafa shot, well, it's more of a pass. I don't think he was aiming to shoot. I was hoping he would, because on his left foot, he can shoot, but I just wondered if he tried to pass that square across the box. You saw enough red shirts there, but I'm thinking just give it a volley with that magic left foot of his that could have nestled in the back of the net.
I agree. I thought for sure that he would go for goal rather than, you have to say, definitely playing the pass. It's difficult to take it out of the air like that and hit it with the right pace. It's now Blake to start the counterattack with the over-the-top ball for Michael Chang. Lofting towards that back post, arriving in the penalty area is Schmidt. Tate Schmidt dispossessed there by Mickey Daly. Fantastic last-ditch defending there, as it looked like Schmidt was in.
I just wondered, the same as Kafa, could Schmidt have hit that on the volley? Could he have a chance? He tries to bring it down, dribble it around, gets dispossessed, chance lost. Maybe a first-time volley would have also seen him at least have an effort on goal, but not to be. He chose to try and dribble and lost the ball.
Gesso. Now a step forward here from Eric Holt. And between the lines. First time ball there from Chang is cut out. You see, when they do get into defense, Fresno, they certainly tighten things up with the number of numbers they have in midfield. Back here for CJ Cochran.
They're a tight defensive side, Fresno. Just conceded 22, whereas Real Monarchs have conceded 33, an extra 11 goals. So it just shows you that Fresno's success to some extent has been built on a really, really solid defense. And I think that's something, again, Adam Smith has said time and time again, that's his main focus. Give nothing away and you've always got a chance of winning the game.
Only Phoenix Rising have conceded fewer in the high-scoring Western Conference. Phoenix have been absolutely sensational. Scored 58, conceded 20. You do not see that level of dominance. It's poorly given away there by Rowe. Now, Jaime Chavez, too many numbers with him, so he'll lay it off here with Juan Pablo Kafa. As Ellis Hayden was making the run in behind. Now, get it to feet.
You mentioned Phoenix Rising in Europe. You'd be looking at that team going, well, they're good enough to go to the MLS and play there and do some damage, but unfortunately that system doesn't exist here. But yeah, I mean, they've been in a different league altogether, and yet, well, it guarantees them, if they continue form as home games, it doesn't guarantee them any success necessarily in the playoffs.
As Kafa tries to dink it there for Kurimoto, bit of miscommunication. Now Arriaga. Martinez trying to cause a problem in behind there with the former New York Red Bulls two-man. What a season he's had. Either a goal or an assist per each match he's played. This is a consistently high level of production for the 22-year-old Honduran. 9 goals, 6 assists in 15 starts.
Wow. That is class, absolutely. If you can produce those sort of numbers. And Michael Chang himself has weighed in with 9. So there's plenty of high scoring in this.
Jack Blake with 6.
Yeah, certainly score goals a game, which is what Adam Smith and the coaching staff has probably focused on and thought, well, if we limit them, they tend to concede. So if we don't give anything away, chances are we score at least 1 and come away with the 3 points. And that seems at this stage of the game to be a very sensible way of approaching it.
And Fresno themselves have scored at least 2 goals in their last 5 home matches, which have all been victories.
The only people who are not always happy with that approach are the fans, of course, the home fans. They would love to see the team flying down the wings, bombing things in, which, to be fair, so far they have done. But if you ever play defensive, the only people who really don't enjoy it that much will be the home fans, but they always enjoy a win, so ultimately if you give them that, they'll go home happy.
Ellis Hayden doing just about enough to keep it in play. The tackle in from Noah Powder. Conceding the throw in, the former Orange County SC man. Throw in launched into the area there from Ellis Hayden, trying to chest it down Chavez, but he'll come here for Kellen Rowe. That's a good out ball there with Martinez. Gesso. Eric Holt charging in. Defender Chavez, and still able to put off the touch now. Martinez coming forward for Real Monarchs. Off here with Jack Blake, who tried to poke it back in behind, and well won by Suleiman in midfield. Now Kafa in behind for Jamal Johnson, who can certainly get at pace to this back four into the penalty area, trying to get the cross in towards Chavez, but Ochoa had his near post covered.
I thought Jamal Johnson had a chance there, just opened up for a shot from the edge of the box, chose not to take it, went a few more steps, narrowed his angle, and in the end it was a tame shot at a very, very tight angle. Just wonder if his first chance wasn't the best chance, but a good attack there from Fresno. And again, picking up on ball lost by Real Monarchs. They had control of the ball, they lost it, they were a little bit vulnerable, and a good attack from Fresno. And that's what they seem to like to do here. Again, look at them sitting, I wouldn't say deep, but they're not pushing too tight on the visitors. Often at home, when you're at home, you tend to go at the opposition, but Fresno happier to sit deeper, block the spaces, and try and work that more counter-attack approach.
And the other advantage of a system change would be that Real Monarchs wouldn't really have prepared for this. For the most part, Fresno have been in 4-4-2 all year. This is a different look and a different way to break a team down.
Yeah, and you can test teams like that. I mean, really good teams can switch from 5 at the back to 4 at the back to 3 at the back, all different types of systems, just to see if the opposition can handle that, can think their way around. Look at those fans, aren't they brilliant? As always, music, singing, no matter what the score is, no matter what the weather is.
And pretty warm tonight in Fresno. Now Fresno to try and play out of the back. Mickey Daly having to turn from pressure. Schmidt applying the pressure, and Daly just having to concede the throw-in.
This is more like Fresno being away from home than at home. But if it produces the result they want, I don't think they're going to be too worried.
Schmidt in for Arriaga now, receiving the ball once more, laying it off here with Noah Powder, whose cross is hit high towards that back post, trying to get underneath it. Chang and headed away. Nice touch there from Samura. Suleiman Samura playing it in behind towards Chavez, who's at full stretch. Eric Holt doing just about enough to shoulder him off the ball. And claimed by David Ochoa in goal.
See, that's not Jaime Chavez's strength, the speed. That's where Lawal would have been the right person to have slipped that ball to. So he's a player that I think if they're struggling, they will go to Lawal because he does give them so much more in attack.
Now here's Kafa to measure one from range, and Ochoa making a fantastic save there. The U.S. Youth International played at the Under-20 World Cup and tested there.
Yeah, good handling from the goalkeeper. It's a shot from quite a way out. Nice shot from Juan Pablo Kafa, all of nearly 30 yards. Keeper does well. Good pair of hands. And Chavez is very quick to follow up. So if the keeper doesn't hold on to it, Chavez would have banged it into the net. So well done to the keeper. And as you say, an international with a lovely set of hands and good control of the ball.
Now charging forward here, Tate Schmidt. Receives it again. Now let's hit the left-footed cross, and it's a decent ball in towards Martinez. Headed away. Work to do here for Ellis Hayden. And a free kick given away there by Tate Schmidt.
Important day today for Ellis Hayden. He was at fault for the goal against OKC. Long ball into the box. Didn't deal with it and got beaten at the far post. So he'll be looking to improve his play and show his manager that he is the right man for the job at right back.
It's going to bring you our injury report. It's brought to you by Physio Motion. Aaron Basulovic, we were on the commentary of that match against Las Vegas Lights when he suffered a broken leg. It was diagnosed almost on the scene. Jackson still dealing with his abductor injury, and Seth Moses continues to be out with a foot. Ricardo Avila, the key figure for Real Monarchs, also out tonight, not even in the traveling squad.
I wish them all a speedy recovery. Nothing worse as a player than being out for long stretches of time and not being part of the success and not getting to play every week. And also the worry that you never get back to full fitness, especially with a broken leg. So We do wish all those injured players the speediest of recoveries.
There you see Adam Smith, the Fresno FC manager. You have to give him a ton of credit as well for keeping some players from a year ago, but finding the right combination after some struggles a year ago and having his side comfortably in the playoffs after missing by some distance a year ago. It's quite a turnaround for him.
It is. It's been a fantastic season. He said he needed a few extra players. He's brought the right players in. They've produced for him. He's promoted a few of the younger players. He's managed to get the best from this squad, and you can see how he interacts with the players, how he sort of tries to work for them and with them and get a good spirit in the club. And he's got some good coaches around him as well who have played the game at a very decent level. So it seems to be a very good setup they've got so far this season. Can't find any fault. I mean, seriously, 7 wins out of 8. I said to him the other day when we spoke to him, I said, "You're feeling like Sir Alex Ferguson."
Colt now to hit it over the top towards Arriaga, but straight for CJ Cochran. Arrived on loan a year ago from Nashville SC, was a full signing this year and regular run as the goalkeeper. Juan Pablo Caffa trying to slide in behind there, trying to apply the pressure to win it back. The former Real Betis man. There's a high boot in central midfield there from Jack Blake. And a free kick for Fresno FC.
Samura was very brave there because you could see the boot come up and he still kept going for that ball with his head, Samura, and eventually won the free kick.
Daly hitting the whip cross in towards Chavez. The flag stayed down. David Ochoa thought that Chavez's run was off, but his header wide.
What a good ball from Daly. That was the perfect one for Chavez, and that's his strength. He's a big man. Getting on the end of the headed ball is what he's good at. And he's trying to flick it near post instead of heading it back the way it came into the far post. That's a bad miss from a man who normally thrives on those sort of opportunities. What a lovely ball from Daly, by the way. Absolutely brilliant.
As Jeffrar goes clattering in there to Michael Chang. And a free kick here to Real Monarchs SLC.
Just wondering, in a match this close, if it does end up at 0-0 or even a 1-0 loss for Fresno, I think you look back at that moment and go, man, that should have been buried. That is as good a chance. And it wasn't like you had a defender pulling him or holding him or making it more difficult. That was a reasonably free header, 6 or 7 yards out. Should have done better.
As over the top, Chavez now trying to take off the chest. Holt away for Chang. Looking to hit with that left. It's the good long ball towards Schmidt, who can win this second effort. Now laying off here with Arriaga. And Martinez to aim at. Schmidt now will hang on to possession. I believe here with Kellen Rowe. Takes an awkward bounce off the surface there. Of course, the grass laid over the infield dirt. Make this playable. Times that grass can get caught. I believe the last match we did against Las Vegas Lights is Cochran forced to just put it out to touch. The entire chunk of it came flying up in a crunching sliding tackle.
It was like having to relay a carpet, wasn't it? A whole big section had to go back in.
Here's Jack Blake.
Yeah, funny enough, Adam Smith saying that's one of the reasons they have a good home form, is that they're comfortable playing on that baseball pitch. They know where the little cracks are and the change in grass or the change in levels, and they love playing at home, which is why they have 5 straight home wins. And, they certainly are looking very, very tight defensively so far, of Fresno.
And you see it as well in a few of the baseball stadiums converted to soccer. And it's usually pretty short and narrow. And that's another thing to get used to as well for a side like Real Monarchs to play in a normal size stadium. To get your game just squeezed a little bit and those spaces don't really appear as much.
Absolutely. It does take a change of thought, but for me it's a difference in surface as you go into that different color green there that you've got to be aware of. The ball moves slightly differently, and certainly as a home side it helps.
Nice flick there from Blake. The crosses in towards that back post. Chang was waiting for it, but cut out before it could get to him. Now, Elijah Martin on the counter. Trying to get inside of Jasso there. And now a free kick whistled late there. The Real Monarchs right back.
Not so sure it was, to be honest. I mean, maybe it's the way Elijah Martin fell. Let's have a look. I thought Jasso gets the ball. And actually, you know what? To be fair, he comes through the back of Elijah Martin. So well done, ref. I'm seeing it again. There.
Goes
it
through
goes
him, in between him.
Yeah. Can't, he wasn't going to get blown up for that. It looked like he'd won the ball cleanly at first, but not so. Well done, Elijah Martin, pushing forward, being positive, winning himself a free kick. And when this man steps up, Juan Pablo Caffa with his magical left foot, anything's possible.
Probably whip it in towards that penalty area. He does indeed towards that back post. Arriving Daly. Couldn't keep his effort on target, but Mickey Daly making the back post run unmarked from 4 yards out. Chance begging.
It's another great chance for Fresno. And he does so well to get round the back there, Daly, and then doesn't manage to put the ball on target. Lovely ball, and finds it, gets there, doesn't even force the keeper. And he's got Chavez square in the box. Could he have played in the big number 9? In the end, great chance, goes a begging. That's now 2 chances. That one and the Chavez header earlier. Fresno really should be ahead in this match.
Monarchs doesn't really react as though it were a great opportunity, but it was. It was from the corner of that 6-yard box. Loving just have to keep that down.
And if you can't score, just square it to Chavez. He will definitely have scored from there, but in the end, Daly doing neither, and I guess most of the players will say, well, what do you expect from a centre-back? These days, centre-backs are a lot more skillful than they used to be, and you really think they should be capable of at least making the goalkeeper work or creating an assist. But not to be. But let's not pick on him too much, because he was the one who put the ball in for Chavez's effort just before that. So Daly already had a huge part to play in this match in creating opportunities.
That makes a great run to get in that position to begin with.
Absolutely.
He does come out for the goal kick. These 2 times met 3 times a year ago, and Real Monarchs won all 3 of them by a 1-0.
Wow.
This year, Fresno getting their first win at the Zions Bank. Christian Cheney with a brace for Fresno FC. Now trying to make it a clean sweep against the side from Salt Lake City this year. Here's Martinez. To his right will lay off here with Jack Blake. His left-footed effort is hit with plenty of power. Just a bit too much height. Blazing over the bar.
Came in him a little bit quickly there, Jack Blake. Didn't really have time to get set. Got a lot of power behind it, as you say, but got to keep it down. I often say this, once it goes over the bar, the keeper doesn't have to work. As an ex-keeper, I'm only too happy to see that. You know, when it comes at you, you've still got to get your body behind it. You've still got to read it. And so I always say, that, you know, when you're shooting on when you're shooting at the keeper, get it on target, make the keeper work. So Jack Blake, lots of power, but just too much lift on that shot.
24-year-old from Nottingham in England. Scored his 6th goal of the year last time out against Tulsa Roughnecks. Earning himself a spot in Team of the Week. Here's Ellis Hayden. As Kurimoto running with him will instead play the left-footed cross in towards that back post, and Elijah Martin, who can chest down, peel it back now for Jamal Johnson. Well, again, aerial cross towards Kurimoto. The header is in and deflected by Kalen Ryden. Good work there from the Monarchs center back as Jeff Farrar now sprays it out to Ellis Hayden. It's a good ball to find the wing back. Caffa, good run of possession here for Fresno FC. Playing in Ellis Hayden once more. His cross is in towards Chavez, headed away there by Ryden. Key work in the penalty area from the Norman, Oklahoma native. Now Martinez on the counter-attack for Real Monarchs. Rowe makes the run into that box, gets a touch to it, tries to flick on, but Mickey Daly stood tall and clears.
Good end-to-end football there. It was Fresno really all around the box. That's going to be a foul, I would think. Fresno around the box causing all sorts of trouble, and wonderful quick counter-attack from Real Monarchs, and then they were in the box causing their own set of trouble. Where you go for the ball, if you don't get it, it's always going to be a free kick every single time. Chavez being trying to be that first line of defense, the big striker, not quite getting the tackle right.
Love the Yaya and Kolo Toure song. I don't know what their take on it is, but as you said, great to hear the fans here in attendance. We'll have a hydration break coming up in a few minutes, as it is a rather warm evening. Fresno. Kalen Rydham. First time we've really seen the tempo of this match just slow down a little bit. It's been played at breakneck pace.
It has, and as you say, with a heat like that, the players will know they've got to sort of manage the heat for the next sort of 60 minutes or so as well. And, I'm very much in favor of these water breaks when they come along, when players play in this heat, because it takes so much out of you and the sweat that you lose, and it really is a sensible thing to do. So very, very good to see, and I hope the players take great advantage of it when that water break does come. At what stage is it?
It's usually on the half-hour mark, but we've not had a stoppage in play. Chavez sliding in behind towards Jamal Johnson. Now finds a good ball here for Elijah Martin. Comes flying forward here for Fresno FC. Laying off with Kafa. First time is towards Jamal Johnson. His header straight at goalkeeper Ochoa.
Yeah, nice little move. Decent header, but you've got to get it wide of the goalkeeper, and it wasn't. It was at the keeper. Juan Pablo Kafa again just setting it up beautifully. It's difficult for Johnson. He's got to turn his head. His face one way, he's got to twist, and best he could do was get it at the keeper. If he gets it either side, who knows, it might have been in the back of the net, but not to be. And there is that hydration break, I guess.
It is indeed awarded to both sides on 31 minutes. It's a rather warm night in Fresno, California. And therefore, the referee will just stop play. 105 degrees at kickoff. Wow. Feels like 102 at the ground with some wind in the area, but my word, is it hot. And a deserved break here for Fresno. As we can now take a look, Fresno this year very much improved over a year ago, but here's just how much. They still have 12 more matches to play and have already earned more points. 43 points to 39 a year ago, already 3 more victories. Again, that's still with 12 games to play for the home side.
Absolutely, Brett. I mean, it has been a fantastic season. The run of wins they've had, those 12 wins makes up all the points. And then it's 3 losses and 7 draws, as opposed to 13 losses last year. So that's a big difference. He's managing to get draws into wins and losses into draws, and an improved team performance all round there. So well done to Adam Smith. It really has been a fantastic season, but I'm sure he'd like it to get better and better. And the playoffs are where all the action is going to take. And then for Emerson Olave there, his job is to try and hold on to his job, first and foremost. And he's going to do that by getting his team of much younger players to show what they can do. I mean, Jasso's 18 and Noah Parda's 20 and Arriaga's 18. I mean, these are young players who have produced some really, really great moments here and there. And they've got to do it on a more regular basis. And there's Adam and his coaching team trying to figure out the pros and cons of this game. And talking about Olave, we were just chatting to him on the phone, and he was talking about the 4-1 away win to Tulsa and how each of the goals came from a different type of play. There was a close-up finish. There was a free kick in the top corner by Jack Blake. Look out for him. There was a header from Ryden and a shot from Chang. So a whole mixture of goals, and that's what he says he likes about his Real Monarchs team, is they can score in a variety of ways.
As we're back underway now following the cooling break, and Jamal Johnson coming forward for Fresno FC. You play in red tonight. Fuego Friday. Real Monarchs wearing all white, the visitors. Here's Kellen Rowe. Strong sliding tackle in there from Ellis Hayden, and won the ball, or did he? Referee stopping play. I think you see both technical areas frustrated Fresno because I think he got the ball, and Real Monarchs because that was a crunching challenge.
I think that's the problem. It was a hard tackle that the referee deemed to be overly hard. Yes, he did win the ball, no question about that, but the way he went in was deemed to be a little bit dangerous by the referee. I think he has a point. Football has changed. You can't go lunging in like that, even if you do get the ball. 15, 20 years ago, that'd be considered a fantastic tackle. The great applause from the crowd, but so you have to change with the times, and today the safety is an absolute priority of the players, and quite rightly so.
As Blake hits the ball towards Martinez. Way there from Daly. Now Jack Blake again. Tate Schmidt showing real command over the ball, the homegrown signing to Real Salt Lake, having on the Monarch side. His 8th start. Came to the RSL Arizona Academy. As Daly nods away for the throw-in. 2 other matches in USL tonight, one having a direct impact on Fresno FC's place in the table. It's Phoenix Rising 1, Reno 1868 0 after 33 minutes. Valley of the Rising Sun.
It's hardly a surprise, is it, the way Phoenix are playing?
Phoenix going for their 14th consecutive victory.
Wow.
And God knows how many on Dollar Beer Night.
Wow.
In Phoenix.
What a run that is.
Chavez and Johnson, Martin on the overlap. Good roll in there. Elijah Martin through the penalty area. Stung the gloves there of Ochoa, who eventually claims.
I just wonder if Elijah Martin could have found someone there. He's done the hard work. It's a beautiful overlap. It wasn't really a shot, so if it's a pass, then it was an inaccurate pass because it didn't find one of his own players. And if it's a shot, then it wasn't a very hard shot. So good opportunity lost there. Elijah Martin on his own running into the box. Just felt he could have had more impact. Here we have a look at it again. And it's going to be a lovely ball played into him. Comes across here to Jamal Johnson. He hears the run coming. He bides his time. Now, that position. Now, you see, I think he's gone for the pass there, and it wasn't accurate enough.
Chavez was crashing in as well. As now Martin will hit the right foot across, takes a nick on the way through. Chavez trying to win the header and forces a great save from Ochoa. Not sure how the 18-year-old clawed that out, but it's tremendous working goal from David Ochoa.
Certainly was. And for that man, Chavez, he whips his head at that. He seems to dig that header out of almost nothing. Have a look at it again. Elijah Martin this time finding his man. The help of a deflection, quick reaction from both the striker and the goalkeeper. Lovely bit of play. There's the header, there's the save. Excellent bit of football.
Jaime Chavez, as you said, somehow managing to get his header on target as it is a corner. Juan Pablo Caffa towards Mickey Daly, who rose but couldn't win. And away from Holt. Ochoa wanted a foul there against Daly. Play on. Nice backheel idea there from Schmidt, but just leaves it here for Samura. Daly had stayed forward. Now Jamal Johnson trying to spray it out to that right-hand side, but neither for Ellis Hayden nor Caffa. Out for a throw into Real Monarchs.
Monarchs losing possession with a bit of bad play, and then getting it back with bad play from Jamal Johnson. So
about evening out.
Yeah, we're back where we started.
Nice tackle in there from Daly to win it here for Zach Ellis Hayden. A couple of step overs. It's a lovely bit of skill there. The cross in towards Chavez. Diving header. Opening goal. And Jaime Chavez just cannot stop scoring. 4 in 3 for the Fresno center forward. And it's the breakthrough on 38 minutes.
That's a fantastic header. Absolutely brilliant from Chavez. He had a chance earlier on that he should have buried. This one he does an absolute style. Beautiful ball in from Zach Ellis Hayden. Chavez finds the angle, gives the goalkeeper Ochoa absolutely no chance. You can see what it means to those players. They're delighted by that goal, as are the fans. And that's what you want, a brilliant cross. And have a look at it again. Zach Ellis Hayden does a couple of tricks, whips that ball in, beautiful. And Chavez is bending down to get the ball and still manages to get the power on it, get it past the goalkeeper. He's furious with his defenders. Great finish from Chavez. Great cross from Zach Ellis Hayden.
It's a rising header with pace as well to go flying over the head of the goalkeeper, who basically had no chance. Was a bit frustrated there to concede. Could Eric Holt have done better to have that covered?
Difficult to say, but Chavez had to sort of bend down to head it. Could the defender have maybe booted it clear? But it was a good cross, and that's what makes it so difficult. Zach Ellis-Hayden whips that in, puts bend on it, and if the cross is that good, it makes it very difficult for the defenders. And to be fair, of all the highlights we've had so far, every single one of them has been Fresno, and they've more than deserved to at least have had this goal. They could have had 2 or even 3. And now the question is, as they win this free kick, the question is, how good are this Real Monarchs side away from home to get themselves back in the match?
Noah Powder going to receive a talking to here from matchday referee Matthew Thompson for a bit of a high boot there. The Real Monarchs fullback. Goal taking Fresno into second in the table. It'll be 2 points clear of Reno 1868 with 2 games in hand.
Wow. I mean, but for the unbelievable form of Phoenix Rising, then this would be the side in the league at the moment, Fresno. Adam Smith is smiling, no wonder. I mean, he's got the goal. They've had numerous chances, could have had a second and third. I think as a manager, you can't ask for more. I mean, they've given the visitors absolutely nothing in terms of chances. CJ hasn't had a decent shot to save. So it's been a very dominant performance by the home side.
Header run there by Daly. Now Kaffa, all the way back to the goalkeeper.
I think it's just giving CJ something to do. Keeper just knocking it all the way down. Chavez doing really well to head that, and he really has been on the end of things. Yes, he might have scored earlier, but let's give him credit for the one he did take. Fantastic finish, and he really has led the line well, Chavez.
There'll be a free kick here to Real Monarchs. Tate Schmidt taking the tackle. You hear the supporter section in full voice. Vigilantes, the Fire Squad, and the Skulk. Love to know the names of the supporters groups. Always provided the noise here, the Chuck Chansey.
Go again with that, the Vigilantes.
The Vigilantes, the Fire Squad, and the Skulk.
The Skulk. Wow. That sounds a bit scary. Like a motorbike gang or something.
It's meant to be an intimidating atmosphere. They do very well.
Oh, they do a great job. I love the Fresno home matches because of, or partly because of the crowd. Of course, they're in great form. That also helps. The crowd are always singing, always positive. The drums are always beating. And if I was at the ground and didn't have kids, I'd be going and standing with them just to get some of the atmosphere.
Blake. Now Real Monarchs to find a response. As you mentioned, they've mostly been pinned back in this first half. And we talked about how the tactical shape for Adam Smith could be a defensive one, but so far it's mostly been an attacking one. They've dominated possession and worked those wide areas particularly well.
Well, I think when you play 5 at the back, it becomes attacking when you push up your 2 wide men, which they've done with Elijah Martin and Zach Ellis-Hayden. Look at that crowd, love it. But when you're pinned back, then those 2 fullbacks come back, and then it becomes 5. So rather than having a normal 4, it's either 3 or 5, and today it's been 3. They've been able to push the fullbacks up, and they've been able to attack, and it really has been a system that so far works very well. So made all possible by James Jeffrod being available as a back 3.
Now Martinez always carries a threat for Real Monarchs. Nice touch there. Going to try and play the 1-2 with Arriaga, who gets turned in the penalty area. Fresno doing well to cave in there. As Kalen Ryden gets a touch, it will be a free kick here to Real Monarchs as Chavez got a significant chunk of him.
Chavez quick to apologize, and I think that's the right way to work with these referees in the USL. They've been very tough, and it's good to see. I'm 100% behind the refs. But when refs are tough, don't go flying in their face, don't go arguing, just hold your hand up, apologize. And sometimes you can avoid a yellow card, because if you're apologetic straight away, the ref goes, okay, you didn't mean it. But you start getting in their face, and well done, Chavez, and handling it really well. You get in their face and cause them problem, it just is likely to push them into giving you a yellow card. So it's very important to manage the referees as players, and that means not causing them problems and not giving them a hard time. I think we see too much on TV, especially in Europe, with this gathering around refs, screaming at them. It doesn't work in the USL. These refs are tough. Who was it who got it was Alex Martinez, got 2 yellows in the space of 30 seconds for chirping the referee. He couldn't believe it. Next thing he's off the park.
Yeah, for Charlotte Independence.
That's right, just for opening his mouth a bit too much.
Jack Blake getting a fantastic switch here to the feet of Cheng. A couple of step overs, but Elijah Martin there the whole way. And pokes it for Jamal Johnson, who gets clear. Now Chavez to apply some pressure. Still flying into his press even after that tackle is Martin's ball a bit too much there for Kafa. See there now a single shot on target for Real Monarchs, which about reflects what we've seen in this match so far.
And it also reflects their poor away form. I mean, 2 wins out of 10 away, and yet a wonderful home form. And Coach Olave saying that he's tried everything, and he thinks it's a case of a change in mentality, but that's only part of it. He says we need to be more compact. We mustn't get stretched. And here he is once again looking at his team, his very talented team, struggling. A team that's so good at home, struggling away from home.
Some of it as well is the goals. Only scored 12 of their 43 goals on the year on their travels. Is now LSA coming forward, having a strike, cut up by Noah Powder. A minimum of 3 minutes to be added on here at the end of this first half. Hydration break figuring prominently in that award.
And the most difficult thing about winning away from home is you got no disadvantage from playing at home. There's no physical advantage or disadvantage. All it is familiarity with your surroundings. So in this case, Adam Smith saying his team Fresno very comfortable playing on a baseball pitch. So it's familiarity, and it's actually a sense of confidence and knowing the crowd are behind you. That's mostly psychological. And it's very difficult for a coach to work on psychology in the training pitch. You have to get a psychologist in full time for that. And that's why it's frustrating for coaches when their teams struggle away from home, because they can't do much. It's not about a change of tactics. It's about a sense of belief.
Given away there by Martin, and now Arriaga to try and strike on the counterattack, trying to play it long towards Martinez. And for a side of Real Monarchs that had so many ideas coming forward a week ago against Tulsa, you just see again there, just a bit hit it long, a bit too simple from Real Monarchs in the attack.
It is, and if you give Douglas Martinez service, he will score goals for you. So, end of the day, he's getting frustrated. He's not getting good service up front, and they're getting a little bit overrun, Real Monarchs, to be fair. I guess ultimately, Fresno are a very, very good side. They're playing with confidence. They've put together 7 wins out of 8. And this is a team that they're playing at their top level, and they've got a good structure with Jeffrod making that 3rd centre back and allowing the 2 fullbacks to get pushed up. So I guess if you're Real Monarchs, you're just thinking, wow, we're up against a very decent team.
Sitting behind there for Ellis Hayden, his low cross is cut out at the near post, but offside flag up anyway against Jaime Chavez, and it'll be a free kick to Real Monarchs. So if you do the math on the goal scoring, 31 goals in 11 at home, nearly 3 a match.
Wow.
And on their travels, just over 1 per match, 12 from this their 11th away game. Sort of dictates the difference.
That's a huge difference, absolutely. I mean, 3, on average 3 per game at home, that's brilliant. Again, the coach will be racking his brain saying, well, what's different? Same players, same system, same everything. And yet they haven't had 1 shot on target. CJ Cochran's had absolutely nothing to do in this first half.
As Rowe tries to flick on towards Schmidt. And will come out of play for the goal kick.
I mean, as a keeper, you love keeping a clean sheet, but you wouldn't mind doing a little bit here and there, just to show that you're a decent keeper, which of course CJ is. Just wouldn't mind the odd shot even from distance. He's had absolutely nothing to deal with.
And there is the halftime whistle. Fresno FC have been thoroughly dominant in this first half and have the goal to show for it. Jaime Chavez with his 7th of the year and his 4th in his last 3 for the Foxes. And it's given them the 1-0 lead at halftime. A lot of work to do for Jamison Olave at halftime to get a response out of his Real Monarch side. Right now, Fresno would go 2nd in the USL Western Conference in the live table. They lead by a 0-0 at halftime. Fresno FC leading by a Jaime Chavez goal-to-0 at halftime over Real Monarchs. 2016 was a milestone year for Fresno soccer as forward Christian Cheney scored 14 of the team's 27 goals to become the PDL's top prospect and sign a pro contract with Sacramento Republic FC. Milton Blanco was a catalyst to Cheney's success, dishing 6 of his 7 assists that season to Cheney.
2016, we knew we were starting out negative, but it was going to be an uphill battle.
That season, I think Christian Cheney had like 15 goals.
He's got the hat trick. Dale Fuego.
From the age of like maybe 14 years old, I had always been, aware of who the Fuego was. I always knew that I wanted to play for that team,
And Cheney heads it in. It will count. Dale Fuego.
Just goals, goals, goals. You got Milton, Cheney, score. Milton, Cheney, score. Milton, Cheney, score. It was brilliant.
When you do it for the passion, you do it to serve others, to open doors for people that are coming behind you.
Well, I want you guys to score. I want all of you guys to get an opportunity.
Cheney. Oh, what a move. Cheney playing with them. Just playing with them, Cheney. Goal,
Fresno Fuego was the perfect forum for these young players to showcase their skills and their talent.
The guys that got to play for Fuego at some point still hold it, dearly in their hearts.
I don't know where I would be without the Fuego. I don't know if I would be able to call myself a professional. I don't know if I would be able to get the opportunity that I did get through Fresno Fuego.
Sporting opportunities provided from Fresno Fuego, from Fresno FC, and this ground would not be standing if not for an influential figure in this community who unfortunately Fresno lost earlier this week. John Carbray, who spearheaded the efforts to bring minor league baseball to the town of Fresno, passing away at the age of 80 in the week, bringing the Fresno Grizzlies to this area. They wanted AAA baseball, and this man is responsible for it. It's been the home of the AAA team in Fresno since 2002, and John Carbray was an influential figure in this community, for this stadium, and for pro sports in Fresno, and he will be missed.
Fortune can hit from here. Oh! McCarthy once more. Blasted back in, and it's a goal for North Carolina FC. Big shot, and he scored. And Ben Spees lets one fly and drills it.
Coming and off and in. What a move!
Shot blocked, follow up, and that one blocked ball still loose.
Stanley will try to create here. Gets it in. Here's Rowe. Up ahead. Continuing cuts back. Strike coming and just beyond the reach of Mangles. It's in. Towards the box. Cuts around Ovalle. Goes down the strike. Philly on the save at the near post. Through the traffic. Knocks it on. Soto there. Back. The shot. And in. Josue Soto off the bench and putting Chattanooga up 2-1.
A little trickery now, maybe. McCabe goes for goal, and it's an excellent free kick. A long run-up produces a long-range effort from Niall McCabe. Not the first time that he cuts through from Dalgard. Dalgard still with it. He tees it up. Great effort, and a terrific opening goal for Hartford Athletic, coming by the way of Sebastian Dalgard.
Opportunities for the opponent. This ball comes in, headed away only to the top of the box. To Langsdorff, volley off the chest, and Portland has the lead in the 3rd minute.
Still Zach Sandy to drive, and what
a save by Matt Pickens. Sent in towards the back post, headed on. Calais Brown, what a save.
Don Maduro, watch him on the tail end of this. He knows how good of a save it is. He turns around, slaps a little high five. Devon George's going to be robbed. Calais Brown.
And there's some of the best from around USL Championship tonight. Fresno FC, who currently sits second in the live table in the Western Conference, lead by a goal to nil over Real Monarchs. Jaime Chavez with his 7th of the year, giving Fresno the lead. Let's take a look now at some of the other major news from around USL Championship. And you see the youngest ever professional signing, eclipsing Freddie Adu from 15 years ago. 14-year-old Francis Jacobs signing a contract with Orange County SC. That is sensational.
14 years of age. Man, he must be some talent to have signed him on this early. That'll be a name worth keeping an eye on in the years to come.
And you see as well some playoff races. 14 sides in the East, 15 in the West enter within 6 points of the playoff positions. That's just the chance afforded to everyone as we enter this home stretch of the year. As you look at the national schedule for this weekend, should be a great slate of games here in the Western Conference. New Mexico United will entertain LA Galaxy 2. That one a 10 o'clock kickoff. All these matches available on ESPN+. Anything catch your eye there, Gary Bailey?
The one you just mentioned should be a good one. New Mexico have just started to pick up some form. They went through a bad patch and they look like they're back on track. And of course, LA Galaxy 2, you never know what to expect. They can have some wonderful talent and produce some great games. That's one I'll be looking forward to.
And here is the table not reflecting of the matches currently in action. Fresno with the lead will go above Reno 1868. Phoenix leading by a goal to nil at halftime. Also going on right now, Portland Timbers 2 leading by 2-1 over Oklahoma City Energy. That one also with plenty of playoff implications, as most matches in the Western Conference do, with Phoenix dominant at the top of the West. Fresno, though, are certainly playing some of their best soccer of the year as well. Could make it 8 wins from 9 if they can finish off this lead in the second half. Your score at the break: Fresno 1, Real Monarchs 0.
Chevron supports Valley PBS Engineering Girl Program, which encourages girls in grades K through 3 to explore STEM education.
Fresno FC leading by a goal to nil at halftime over Real Monarchs. We get straight into our first half highlights from this one, show you the chances and the goals for the side currently in front. Chris Whittingham and Gary Bailey here for commentary of this one, as here are our first half highlights. And Fresno would have the majority of the chances. But get us started, and straight away, Jamal Johnson flying forward, trying to pick out that cross in. David Ochoa having it covered at the near post, while Pablo Caffa can also create a few chances here. This effort from range.
Yeah, Ochoa with some very good hands there. That's a long, long way out that shot, but the keeper does really well to hold on to it. And just a wave of Fresno attacks. This daily ball, I'm thinking Chavez, head that back the way it comes and you stick it into the far corner. That's a goal. And that stage, what a bad miss that was from him, although we'll see later that he makes amends. Daly again, could he have done better with that?
A couple of opportunities from good crosses into the penalty area there. Mickey Daly couldn't keep his effort down.
Here they come again, Fresno. Elijah Martin out wide. Plays it back, and Pablo Caffa there with the ball to Jamal Johnson, heads it straight at the keeper. If he heads it either side of the keeper, maybe he scores, but puts it right in Ochoa's arms, and lovely ball in from Juan Pablo Caffa. And this was the story, good ball in, lots of probing from the home side. Elijah Martin gets one in, and this is a good save from Ochoa. Great little header from Chavez, how he gets the flick on that and the turn of the head, the keeper equal to it. And then eventually,
Ellis Hayden with the cross in, Jaime Chavez near post. Lovely finish.
Brilliant finish. Gets power in it, gets height in it. Fantastic cross in, by the way, but well deserved for Fresno and for Chavez. And it's all been the home side on the attack, and they've got something for all their efforts at last.
A first assist of the year for Zach Ellis Hayden after 5 years ago, but it's that man, Jaime Chavez, who is in a rich vein of scoring form. Now 4 in 3, 7 on the year, and hitting the heights at exactly the right time.
He is, and he could have had a second. I still think that one was almost easier, with one that he sort of flick-headed past. But here's the team with the problem. Real Monarchs, not one single effort on goal in the entire 45 minutes. And that's a team that you can't stop scoring at home. So what can they do? How can they see things differently? How can they be more positive? Look like they've been keeping warm at halftime and keeping sharp. And I would expect them to really have a go second half. I'd rather my team lose 3 or 4-0, but have a go than just sit at 1-0 and don't have a single shot on target. So Adam Smith's side likely to come under a bit of pressure here second half as Real Monarchs try and get themselves back in the match.
A nice, if hot, night here at the Chukchansi Park. Fresno FC leading by that Jaime Chavez goal to 0. And Fresno, who were so dominant in the first half, will have to be careful. Real Monarchs certainly carry plenty of goal threat in their side, and if they're not careful, can very quickly climb back into the match.
They could, especially through Douglas Martinez. He's really good. There's the man on the ball. 1-0 is not a safe scoreline. 2 or 3-0, and Adam Smith will be a lot happier.
And we are underway in the second half. Real Monarchs wearing the all whites, moving from right to left with the blue trim. Fresno FC in their red alternate kit, the white shorts and red socks. Fresno well dominant in that first half. Majority of the possession, all of the chances we showed you from halftime. Hardly an effort from Real Monarchs. Certainly none on target for CJ Cochran to work from. And for Fresno, a tactical shift that has come off perfectly, you have to say.
Yeah, playing 3 at the back, all made possible with James Jeffrod, who came on the last match as a sub and tightened up the back. And they started him today with 3 at the back, the 2 wing backs push forward. So attacking move, and it's worked out really well and provided dividends for the home side.
Here's Kellen Rowe just trying to grow into the game. This is a player with real MLS pedigree, still 27 years of age, but struggling to get a regular run of fitness and chances in an MLS side with Sporting Kansas City the last year and change. Now acquired by Real Salt Lake. A chance for him to find that fitness in USL Championship. In central midfield, as at times that is a winger in Major League Soccer. But with Jack Blake in the center of the park tonight as Caffa is here for Elijah Martin. You see in possession how far forward those wing backs are getting. Really Kurimoto and Suleiman Samura, who are holding in the center of midfield. The cross will come all the way to Jaime Chavez, trying to get the touch around the defender. He goes down to the penalty area. Referee not any kind of interested in the award of a penalty as Chang gives away.
This is an early sort of dominance again by Fresno. I mean, it's still only 2 minutes into the second half, but I thought that Real Monarchs would have come out really hunting and holding on to the ball, and they're under pressure almost from the get-go.
Here's Ellis Hayden again to cause some problems, trying to get the touch around Noah Powder, who puts it away for the corner.
Yeah, the fans again in the background, look at that. Waving of the flags and the scarves and everything else they've got, giving their team wonderful support.
I'd love to see some goals scored at their end of the ground, as it will be Juan Pablo Caffa. Wears the armband tonight. Swing in the corner, 34 years of age, as it's lofted in towards that back post, away from Kalen Ryden. Second ball comes for Kurimoto. See a ton of teams relying on players over the age of 30 in USL Championship, but Fresno certainly with plenty of experience in their side. Daly, Caffa, Chavez, and Johnson all, as they say, the wrong side of 30, but for this club it could perhaps be the right side.
Yeah, I think if you want to win things, then there's nothing wrong with having experience. A lot of clubs, including Real Monarchs, one of their main aims, of course, as a feeder club is to produce the youngsters.
Now Caffa just bamboozling Ryden there as he'll send in the right foot across. Back post delivery towards Elijah Martin. Needed intervention there from Michael Chang out for the corner.
Well, that's what 34 years of experience brings you with Juan Pablo Caffa. The ability to put in a decent ball, comes back on his favored left, goes on the right. And even with a weaker foot, still puts in a ball to the back post. It's really dangerous, but nothing wrong with having experience in your team. Certainly going to help you win trophies.
And it will be another corner for Fresno FC. 4 minutes into the second half. Juan Pablo Caffa caused some problems, as he has with his set-piece delivery for most of the night, but yet to yield a goal. There's his delivery, rising for the header, Del Campo. He scored from a set piece a week ago against Oklahoma City Energy, but unable to keep his header down.
He's just a bit frustrated with himself, wondering if he could have maybe either kept it on target, or I think if you're struggling to make good contact, just flick it on. If you flick it into the danger area, that's when your strikers can pounce on it and smash it into the back of the net. He does neither. He sticks it out of play, and that's probably why he was a little bit frustrated with himself.
Now it's a soft back pass there. Ochoa had to come off his line. Alert to the run of Chavez. Jack Blake. For Arriaga. Jasso coming forward. A bit more likely here from Real Monarchs. Lovely feet there from Rowe, who receives the return ball. His cross is through. Cut up by Del Campo. Out for the corner.
It's the first time we've seen Real Monarchs really put a decent attack together. Some nice play out wide, good defending from Fresno, but maybe we are going to see the real Real Monarchs. Can I say that? The real Monarchs?
For the real Real Monarchs, please stand up.
Yeah.
Noah Powder swinging in. Headers in from Kalen Ryden, off the line there from Ellis Hayden, who was covering his post. Did so very well. As it's again lofted in, trying to win that header, Martinez. We got the better of Jeffrar. Out for the goal kick. But a good chance on there from Real Monarchs.
Yeah, what a difference. We are seeing them come to life. They're getting up here. It's a decent header kicked off the line there. Kalen Ryden getting up really well. Mind you, he's not been marked by anybody. And a bit of a scramble in defense. And Douglas can't do much with the ball that comes back in. So the coach, Emerson Olave, has managed to get his team to be much more offensive, and we've seen more from them in the 5 or 6 minutes of the second half than we saw in the entire first half.
Header on there from Samura. Johnson taking down well here for Ellis Hayden. Beat just about anyone for pace, but a strong tackle in there from Tate Schmidt. He's have 2 goals on the year, scoring his first professional goal for Austin Bold after a collegiate career at Louisville. Ellis Hayden managed to throw it to the center of the park there for Samura. Here's Martin as Jeffrar coming forward. Now could he pick out a cross? With plenty of height, Ellis Hayden tries to take it down. That'll be a whistle for handball.
Not happy with that. Zacchaeus Hayden, but it was a big ball in there from Jeffrey. Difficult to deal with it. You've got to whip those in, and the big centre back sticking lots of air on that. Always going to be difficult to win that. Gives defenders time to get into position and shield the ball. Back to the fans. They've got a little bit quiet. They all stood up a few minutes ago, so maybe they're taking a breather. Do they get a water break as well?
I don't know if it's a water break so much as a beer break. Cochran claiming the ball in behind there.
Well, Cochran could have had a beer break for the entire first 45, but the second half, suddenly he's having to be on his toes as Real Monarchs offer a little bit more of a threat.
Ellis Hayden. Get behind the run of Jamal Johnson there. But still a throw-in for Fresno FC. They'd like to add a second to their lead. Jaime Chavez broke through after 38 minutes. The win right now will take them second as Ellis Hayden sends the cross in. Ochoa tracking the ball and catching. There you see the result from Phoenix at the moment. It is Phoenix 1, Reno 1868 0. Also going on right now in the Western Conference, Portland Timbers 2-2, Oklahoma City Energy 2. Oklahoma City Energy coming back from 2-1 down to equalize. That would just about keep them above the playoff line for the moment.
It's so exciting, isn't it, in both the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference. So many teams, if they put a run together, you can go from way outside the top 10 and still sneak in. Conversely, a bad run could see you drop right down and out at the last moment. So a lot of teams really finding the next few games so important. We're talking about the New Mexico match against LA Galaxy 2. Both those sides are currently okay, but you know, they could drop out, and it just takes, I think there's only about 3 points separated about 4 of those teams. As the referee's not impressed by that and doesn't feel the need to give anything other than a goal kick.
Right now in the live table, only 5 points separating Real Monarchs in 4th and El Paso Locomotive in 12th.
No.
Wow. Well, as attempted to be slid in behind there, Arriaga going down, and the referee not interested there. Right, there is a tug of the shirt from Jasso, I should say.
The referee didn't see it, hasn't given it, and doesn't have the benefit of the replay, so match goes on. But you were just saying how many teams are within such a small space of each other. 8 teams, 5 points apart.
Yeah, and right now Real Monarchs are only 3 points clear of OKC Energy in 10th in the live table.
Oh,
so
it can all change so quickly. A good run or a bad run, and it could be, if it's a bad run, it could be an absolute disaster. You could have a really good season and blow it all in the last few weeks.
Which is, as Chavez receives defeat, free kick for Fresno, which is what's allowed Fresno to climb up the table. It just takes the one good run, and they've won 7 and 8, and that's enough to see them at the moment, if the score holds, 12 points clear of Real Monarchs in 4th.
And almost guarantees them a top 10 place, even if it was a bad run from here. And I think that's step number 1, is to get yourself into the playoffs, get yourself away from that melee of teams sitting around that 9th and 10th position, because that's going to be a real bun fight.
Here's Johnson playing it for Ellis Hayden through that penalty area. Good idea there from the wing back, but neither Chavez nor Elijah Martin there to respond. As tackle comes clattering through there through Douglas Martinez, and it will be our first yellow card of the match for Mickey Daly.
That was a late tackle, no question about it. It's one of those as a referee, you know, do you give a yellow? And if it's dangerous enough, and in particular if the player stays down and looks like he's hurt, which Martinez did, then it's always going to get a yellow. Have a look here. Martinez plays it, then it doesn't come through too badly. There's no raised studs. The feet are on the ground, but if the player stays down and looks like he's badly injured, then more times than not, it'll be a yellow card.
It's just more likely for arriving late. But you're right, it probably just look like a foul in real time, but
I think he was saying that. I think he was saying, really? I mean, that's going to get me a yellow card to Douglas Martinez. You're really that badly hurt? But I guess the striker's job is to play it up and get the centre back booked so that he can't kick him again. Otherwise, it'll be a red.
As Samora charging in, having a go. Ochoa down to his right to have it covered. Nice interchange there between the midfielder from Sierra Leone and Chavez.
Good hands again from the keeper. He's held on to a few shots that other keepers might have spilled, but he's done really well, the young man. 18 years of age, the goalkeeper. That really is young. He showed lots of maturity.
Mentioned his U20 World Cup experience, also part of the U.S. squad at the Vaclav Jezek tournament, which the U.S. won. Agreed to carry on, and this is one of the brilliant opportunities for USL Championship side is to give professional experience to the under-20 internationals that potentially see them get bigger moves or moves up to their MLS clubs at a young age.
Yeah, very important that, and this is where you want young players to learn in a proper professional environment where you have to win, where you're under pressure to perform, where you've got more mature players who know the tricks of the trade, and you've got to learn those tricks very, very quickly. It's a lovely environment, the USL. It really is, and I've no doubt that viewers of this match and other games will see young players now that in 3, 4, 5 years' time could be full-on internationals, and you'll go, I remember him watching him a few years back.
Jasso playing the 1-2. Now the cross in from Chang is towards Martinez. Just a bit overhit.
Good idea. Nice quick turn. Whip the ball in. Martinez a little bit frustrated. I'm not sure if it's with himself or the fact the ball was a little bit too high. But they certainly are giving CJ a little bit more to think about in the second half than they did in the first half. And thanks to coach Hamilton Olave, must have had a few words, said to his players, hey, I don't care if you end up losing 2 or 3, but go out there and give us a game, because so far you've done nothing. With the pressure from the white shirts. Good pressure.
Forcing the ball along there from Daly. Now back from right and for Ochoa. And Hamilton Olave did tell us on our call that Ochoa came back from the Under-20 World Cup a different player. And he's now had a regular run in the side. This is his 12th start. But this is a player who started in the quarterfinal for the U.S. It ended up being a 2-1 loss to Ecuador, but showed very well in the match.
And he's still young for the U20s at 18.
Yeah.
So, great talent. Big, tall, lanky goalkeeper, David Ochoa. Good chance to see him there. Look how tall he is. And he's got to keep an eye on his weight over the next few years. And if he can keep himself nice and slim, then, wow, maybe we are looking at a future top-class international for the US.
Eric Cole. Find Chang, but cut out now. Jamal Johnson can on the counter-attack here. This is in an offside position right now, but now Johnson have a left-footed strike! And Ochoa covering his near post very well. Jamal Johnson can strike from that sort of range and testing the keeper there.
He did test the keeper. I think it just squirmed a little bit out of the keeper's hands. Let's have a look here. Jamal Johnson whips that. No, it didn't. It's actually a good save. You're quite right. Stretches and gets that left hand. Make sure it goes round the post. So again, the big goalkeeper showing us what a fantastic talent he is.
Now, it will be a corner here, just past the hour mark. Delivered towards that near post, flying in Jamal Johnson. But leapt to win the header and couldn't keep it down.
Just well to get there, Jamal Johnson. Just wonder if he could have got any higher. Let's have a look. He's already stretching, just couldn't get over the ball and head it down. Again, you look at it and think all the chances Fresno have had, there's just this one goal, and slowly Monarchs are getting themselves back into the game. Must be a concern for Adam Smith that after this domination, they could still end up not getting all 3 points.
Since we last told you about the game going on in Phoenix, there's been 2 goals. One scored by Reno, by Danny Musovski to make it 1-1, but Phoenix back in front 6 minutes later through a penalty from Solomon Asante. So Phoenix rising 2, Reno 1868-1.
We do hear a lot about Asante's name, don't we?
He's a cracking player.
Oh, isn't he just? Ghanaian international. I think it's something like 16 caps for his country, and Ghana, one of the top footballing countries in Africa. So he's a real talent.
And Fresno trying to charge forward here. Just a bit too much running there for Kafa. Now Powder winning it back. Asante now on 17 goals for the year. That is top in the Golden Boot race. Here's Blake.
It helps when you play for Phoenix Rising and they're on their, what did you say, 14th win, 13th?
It would be 14 in a row if they win tonight.
14. Wow.
Rowe evading the sliding tackle there from Kurimoto. Still applies the pressure. See Fresno affording almost no space on the ball for Real Monarchs as Martinez. It's a strong frame about. Giving the ball back for Real Monarchs. Long there towards Schmidt, who can take down well in the penalty area. Here's Tate Schmidt on his right, laying off here with Jack Blake. And now the cross in from Chang comes off of Daly. Now Blake into that mixer, headed away by Jeffrar. And now Samura losing out. Real Monarchs applying the pressure. The layoff is in for Jack Blake. Strong tackle to keep possession. Couldn't find Martinez. And now Johnson just sending it long for Chavez to chase. Ochoa off his line, just booting it away. Throw into Fresno.
A bit of pressure there from the visitors. That's going to have Adam Smith worried. Oh, look at that scoreline there. On the right side.
Yeah, Oklahoma City Energy now 3-2 in front against Portland Timbers, who would actually take Oklahoma City above Portland in the table and into 7th. We've also had a third goal for Phoenix Rising, only by 3-1. Mustafa Dumbuya. They look on their way to a 14th on the bounce. But again, that result would help Fresno FC, as Reno losing and Fresno winning means Fresno into 2nd in the Western Conference.
That's an assumption, of course, that Fresno win, and slowly Real Monarchs have got themselves back in this match. We saw a minute or two ago good pressure around the edge of the Fresno box, and they certainly look a lot more dangerous in the second half. Pushed up high. Look at the white shirts. They're working higher, they're pressing higher, they're getting turnover ball, which they've just done right now as we're speaking. And that's the difference in this team compared to the first half when they sat a lot deeper.
Jeffrar just looking a bit awkward there on the ball, forced to give away the throw-in, which Real Monarchs win once more. Steve Jasso coming forward. The two fullbacks, he certainly come forward more. Left-footed crosses through the area. Schmidt went down, but referee not spotting any kind of threats from that Fresno defense. Cochran getting the counter started with Ellis Hayden on the throw. Nice layoff there from Jamal Johnson. Good poke there from Kurimoto. A better turn from Samura. Passage in play here from Fresno FC allows Elijah Martin to come forward. The wing back, looking for options. Sprayed out towards Ellis Hayden. Can run at Noah Powder 1v1 on this right-hand side. Ellis Hayden towards that byline, through the area, flashing across the face of goal. Chang just poking it away for the corner. But another bit of dangerous play from Zach Ellis Hayden.
This is brilliant play from Zach. Have a look, he comes back to his left and then goes straight to the right. Wonderful skills. It's a beautiful ball across the box, and Chavez has got to be thinking, could I have read that? Could I have got on the end of it? If he had, it would have been the simplest of touches into the goal. Brilliant play from the right wing back. And yet, still just the one goal so far that separates them.
Kaffa with the corner. Powerfully away. Ellis Hayden already with the assists on the night. Even trying to add to his tally, and that ball was certainly worthy of it. Just poked all the way through for Ochoa. Fresno with this match. Another home fixture against Colorado Springs before 3 away. At Tulsa, at Reno, and at Las Vegas. So the tour through Nevada upcoming for Fresno. For them to take some more points on their travels. Samora to the feet of Chavez. And now Fresno seizing the initiative once again. Real Monarchs look like they were growing in the game, but Fresno a solid run of possession as the strong tackle is in there from Kellen Rowe in central midfield. It'll be a free kick here to Fresno FC.
Looks like Fresno are getting ready a sub. Get some fresh legs on. They've worked really hard in midfield. That heat that you mentioned, which at the start of the match was, what, 106 degrees. Means that they might need some fresh legs. And they'll also have the option at some stage of Curtis Lual and his goal-scoring ability to try and get the second and close this match out. So some thinking for Adam Smith and the coaching staff to do.
And see Luis Palma being prepared on the bench. That's his arrival. Thrown here by Jamison Lave. Now Adam Smith with some changes to consider with his technical team. See lead assistant Robert Earnshaw in the frame.
Yeah, a player who he's got something like 60-odd caps for Wales. Robert Earnshaw really was a very, very good player in the UK for quite a while. So I'm sure he's been a huge benefit to the Fresno players to have someone of his success and ability on the coaching staff.
Actually a pair of changes being prepared for Real Monarchs as Kellen Rowe can lay off here with Jack Blake. Now Schmidt cutting inside. Begin again with Blake, who can strike from this sort of range. Has a go! Jack Blake, and CJ Cochran tested there. Had his near post covered, but not a bad effort from the English central midfielder for Real Monarchs.
They're arguing that the goalkeeper got a touch on that and it should have been a corner. Jack Blake not happy. And now it looks like they're going to have the subs.
Luis Palma and Kyle Coffey will come on for Real Monarchs. So Diego Casillas will enter for Fresno FC. The change is allowed. Casillas to make his 13th substitute appearance of the year for Fresno Fuego and Fresno FC under 23. And he will come on for Jeffrar. This will lead to a tactical change with the midfield player coming in for the defender. Does indeed look like it'll be a more traditional back four, and I think Casillas holding up 4 fingers there.
Test visitors. It's a different style of play. If the 2 fullbacks sit back, then they have to readjust as well. So we'll see how quickly Real Monarchs pick up where they have to be and how they're going to contend with this new look Fresno side.
His first time ball over the top towards Chang. Can get onto it. Right-footed delivers in towards that near post. Martinez equalizing goal against the run of play. Douglas Martinez with his 10th of the year.
Just wondering, he's looking up at the linesman. Are they debating if he was offside? What a great finish from Douglas Martinez. Absolutely brilliant. And we said that Fresno had to be careful at 1-0 because they can score goals. Yes, it's been given. He looked a bit confused for a moment, a bit uncertain, but a decent ball in. And a great finish from Douglas Martinez, and he is such a prolific striker. What's that? 10 and 16 now, plus 6 assists. And that's the danger in not taking the chances for Fresno, as this man could pop up and score. Ball gets played wide. It's going to be a decent cross from Michael Chang.
Certainly never offside.
Never offside. Maybe they're thinking the ball went out here. No, let's have a look. No, can't see what the debate was. CJ goes for it, doesn't get it. Could you question the goalkeeper? Should he have let his defender deal with it? Maybe. In the end, I think credit to Douglas Martinez. And now we do have game on.
Martinez with his 10th of the year and his 16th start. Prolific scorer, arriving Honduras at CDS Vida. Now, giving Real Monarchs the equalizer, and they're pressing on here. Tate Schmidt chesting it down, clattering into the goalkeeper. Cochran can't handle it. The referee allows play on through all of it.
Real Monarchs goal scored by...
A player down there for Real Monarchs that hit the goalkeeper and came off worse. I just wonder if they're going to stop the game or whether the injury's not too serious.
In the middle of all that, we had the confirmed change as Luis Palma is on for Luis Arriaga. And Kyle Coffey is on as well.
Oh, the player's still down by the looks of it after that collision with CJ. I'm surprised it took that long because he went down in pain to begin with and he's still down, so I thought the referee might have stopped the game a little bit earlier.
I think Tate Schmidt is the other player who will make way. As look again, Cochran is good to go, but as we are into the hydration break, it is actually Schmidt who is not off, he's just injured, and goes into the goalkeeper.
I think he stretches maybe his groin there, he's holding on to it. You never know with the situation there who comes off worse, the keeper or maybe it's his knee. It's a big clash there, two big bodies collide. And goalkeepers generally are the bigger of the two bodies, so it can be the striker who comes off worse. And Schmidt really feeling that. Hope he's okay.
AU confirmation of the changes. We can bring them to you. Kyle Coffey is on, but you have to say for Real Monarchs, it's against the run of play, and I would not have had this pegged for a 1-1 after the 70 minutes plus we've seen so far of this match.
Not at all, except that with Douglas Martinez in your side, he is going to score goals. Chavez has had a couple of chances, scored one, could have had a second, maybe even a third. This is not good for Schmidt. He's walking very gingerly off the pitch. So we hope this is nothing long term.
He's sort of awkwardly nursing his right knee there. And it will be Palma who will come in for Schmidt. That change was not yet confirmed, and I think a lot of him might have changed his mind about the change he wanted to make, and in the end does bring on substitute Luis Palma for Schmidt. Played at the same club as Douglas Martinez in Honduras. Palma only 19 years of age, and with the under-20s at the CONCACAF Championship. Martinez at the Pan American Games for Honduras. Now Fresno, to try and find a response. This game is just kind of slowed down a bit, and some attacking changes available. 3 forwards to Adam Smith, Bustamante, Lawal, and Cheney. All options. Cheney scored twice in the earlier meeting this year with the Real Monarchs. Could he be brought on?
You would think Kudus Lawal would be the one with his goal-scoring record, and just shows you against good teams like Real Monarchs, you've got to put them to the sword when you've got the chance. You need the second and third. Fresno unable to get it. They've had the chances, no question about that. And the second half has been much, much better by the visitors. Way more positive, higher pressing. And we said earlier, if you give Douglas Martinez some service, he'll score. And that's exactly what's happened. Question is, can Fresno get themselves back in the lead again? What can they do to get the 3 points as the home side?
Tackle coming through, Casillas there. Powder away for the throw-in. Adam Smith and the Fresno players wanting a foul there against the Real Monarchs left back. Now Ellis Hayden sliding through. Gone studs up as well. And the referee, Matthew Thompson, is going to pull him back here.
He's giving him a talking to. I don't see the card coming out. There was a theatrical dive and roll. Yep, the card is coming out. There's a big dive there from Jack Blake as he went down. It's good to see him up and about. And the yellow card for Zach Ellis-Hayden. Let's have a look at it again and just see how dangerous it was. Yes, Jack Blake doing a real big leap to avoid the studs, but the studs were up. In fairness to Blake, the studs were up, and he had to do some acrobatics there to avoid being hurt by Zach Ellis-Hayden, who quite rightly goes into the book.
Yeah, deserved for a really strong tackle. We've seen a few of those tonight from Fresno FC. If you win the ball, it might even still be a foul, just based on the strength and how much you're taking out of the player.
Yeah, anything that has the possibility of injuring a player these days is going to get you into trouble. More and more we see almost teams playing without tackling, just letting the opposition have the ball and then try and take it off them.
Now Jamal Johnson testing Ochoa from range. Keeper up for it once more, claiming there.
The idea was good from Johnson, execution not that great. Way too easy for Ochoa just to scoop that up, but as we come towards the last 10 minutes, everything to play for now. Who's got the nerve? Who's got the ability to turn the game in an instant? That's what it's going to be all about.
And it's a poor ball there from Noah Powder, returning for Jack Blake, and a throw in here for Fresno FC. As Reno have another back in their match against Phoenix Rising, trying to scrounge together a point. The goal conceded there by Fresno will take them below Reno in the live table. They need a victory to come into second as Ellis-Hayden tries to return. They still have plenty of opportunities. Fresno climb above them in the table. They do have 2 games in hand. Sort of feel the chance on to do this tonight.
You certainly start going back to some of the chances in the first half, and we mentioned at the time that Chavez header from the daily cross in the first sort of 15 minutes or so, and how that really should have been a goal and wasn't. And I'm sure if they end up drawing, they'll look back at the chances they've had, Fresno.
Here's Johnson. He's trying to play the cross through. Now Kaffa trying to get on the back end of it. Cleared only as far as Ellis-Hayden. Casillas laying off with the provider the assist for the Fresno goal. Just as Reno feel like they have the lifeline. Phoenix with another goal. It's now 4-2 in favor of this side.
They score for fun, Phoenix Rising.
They really do. Now on to 62 goals for the year. Ellis-Hayden plays a good cross in. Chavez flying through. Couldn't get clean purchase on the header. And now for Martin. And Jamal Johnson. And he trying to find a good cross of the ball. That one sailing out of play. But again, Ellis-Hayden, tremendous service from wide areas.
Oh, it's a fantastic cross, as it was for the goal itself. Whips it in. Good height. Chavez just inches away from getting on the end of that one. And Zach Ellis-Hayden has put some wonderful balls in the box here tonight. And that deserved more. And it would have been a wonderful winning goal for Fresno, but Chavez just couldn't quite get on the end of it. The fans are still enjoying it, but a bit more tense than they were when they were 1-0 up. Realizing, of course, this could go either way. It could even end up in a defeat. So it's much, much better second half for the visitors, Real Monarchs. Delighted to see them be more positive, play football the way that, you know, their fans would want them to play it away from home, the way they play it at home. They're much more direct, and that's what their second half has been like.
Hit long there for Martinez to chase. Played by CJ Cochran with less than 9 minutes left to play. Fresno FC in the 90. Trying to gain their lead back. Kurimoto chesting on, but giving away. Coffee and Rowe. Tackles coming in, but strong there from Kellen Rowe in central midfield. A tug of the shirt there from Suleiman Samura. Now the referee have a word here with the native of Sierra Leone.
I would have thought the yellow card was coming out there for
that's
Samura.
exactly what they're saying in the Real Monarchs technical area.
He was definitely holding him back. There's no question whatsoever. There's a big tug. Have a look here. There's a massive tug on Kellen Rowe's shirt there. And the referee's right there. And I thought normally you give a yellow card for that. Okay.
I think even the fourth official thinks that that's yellow, but the referee doesn't.
He's off the hook.
And the free kick delivered in the penalty area. Well caught there by C.J. Cochran, flying off his line and handling that aerial delivery. And with the Phoenix goal, another penalty converted by Solomon Asante, now on 18 for the year for Phoenix Rising. Now have 62 goals in 23 matches.
Wow. Wow, that's virtually 3 goals per game. That is just phenomenal from Phoenix Rising. Don't think anyone's going to catch them, which means they'll have home ties in the playoffs as long as they're in the playoffs. Last season they got to the final, losing it to Louisville City, which surprised me with Drogba in the side. I wonder if this season they can go one better. I'm sure the Fresno fans are saying, nah, you might finish top, but if we finish or third and even second, we'll be right there next to you.
Potentially paying them a visit come playoff time, as it's slid in for Elijah Martin. His left-footed cross is cut out. Then comes Conley for David Ochoa. And the Real Monarchs goal has been rather solid tonight. We mentioned Fresno missing chances, but Ochoa has snuffed a few of them out as well.
Ochoa's looked really, really good. No question about that. This is a much, much more positive Real Monarchs team in the second half, which is good to see. So I wonder with CJ whether he needed to come for the header that beat him from Douglas Martinez. If he stays on his line, he could very well have made the save.
Crossing towards that back post, taken now well by the substitute Palma. His strike straight in the defender Ellis Hayden, and clear. Nice ball there from Casillas. And now Juan Pablo Caffa to run at this Real Monarchs defense. Casillas, lung-busting run to the penalty area. Cross there from Eric Holt. Referee with a decision to make. He's awarded a throw-in.
I think the defender did get there first, to be fair, even though the fans would love to think otherwise. I think he did. Fans calling for the penalty. Let's have a look at it a bit more closely from Eric Holt and see whether he does get it. I thought he did. Let's have a look. Oh, it's about the same time they get there, but under those circumstances, you still can't give a penalty. It's close, isn't it? It could switch either way. Could be a goal for Fresno. There could be a goal for Real Monarchs.
Now Palma trying to cause a few problems to substitute Powder. And Martinez getting the cross in towards Kellen Rowe, goes down. That far less likely to draw the sympathies of the referee.
He did go down very easily, didn't he, when he knew he couldn't get the ball? I'm just wondering whether there's an opportunity for Kudos Lawal to come in last few minutes for Fresno and bring in his pace up front. It's one of the options to Adam Smith.
It's only been the one change from the Fresno manager so far.
There's a bit of a gap here while the referee's sorting out either, the substitution.
And the trademark slow trot off.
when you got the result you want, that's when you have the slow trot off.
Michael Chang moving his arms, but not really applying the force to come off. Just a simple walk off. Conrad Plewo will come on for Chang. Strong night's work. It's the 27-year-old Polish international who will enter. Long time in USL with New York Red Bulls 2 and St. Louis FC in his second season with the Real Monarchs. Johnson step overs and loft in towards his center forwards. Throwing for Fresno.
Crucial last few minutes here. It's a little moment of magic, something really special, and it could be a victory for either of these sides.
Keeping up to date with the other matches in USO, Oklahoma City Energy look like they have the 3 points. They can now lead by 4 goals to 2 away to Portland Timbers 2. Christian Ibiaga and Christian Isley with the goals in the second half to give OKC the lead. Blake nearly caught on it as the substitute Casillas has been flying around, causing problems. As Samura winning the header in midfield, it's poked in behind there from Johnson, but perhaps a bit too early. And Ochoa waiting, and Chavez nearly stuck the boot in there. Ochoa not at all happy with Chavez.
Well, you've got to be careful as a keeper. If you're not going to play the ball, you're sort of inviting the striker to have a little bit of a kick at it. So you can leave it. Don't leave it to the last second. Give it 3 seconds before the striker gets there.
There's Qudus Lawal being prepared to come on.
Yes, I thought they would throw him on. Just with his pace, just the sort of player to come on. Not much time, though. Maybe could have, you know, given him a little bit more than 3 minutes or 2 minutes.
Also requires the ball to be put out of play. Monarchs keeping possession through Eric Holt. And in behind for Martinez, who's going to run at this defense. Now laying it off here with Kyle Coffey. Lovely ball. Coffey trying to get turned. Leave it for Palma. And a good strike in straight at the goalkeeper, CJ Cochran. With some danger in the latter stages from Real Monarchs.
Absolutely. Palmer there had a little moment where he could have written his name up in the newspapers. It opened up for him. He had time on the ball. He could pick his spot. And in the end, he doesn't give CJ too many problems. That was a wonderful opportunity. I just wonder whether Luis Palmer would have liked that chance again to have maybe done a little bit better with it.
Powder coming forward. That's Hayden trying to get turned. Leave it with Kurimoto. It'll be a free kick. And now the referee will allow the change to happen. Qudus Lawal will enter. It'll be like for like as Chavez will make way. Interesting that Adam Smith not necessarily going all the way. Going 2 strikers on, going to 4-4-2.
Yeah, which you would normally do at home. You'd think that you'd want to get the home victory, but I guess he also wants to ensure that he at least gets the 1 point.
Lawal on 7 goals, 3 assists for the year, 20th appearance. It's a solid return from the Nigerian as Ellis Hayden is onto it. Laying it off here with Casillas. Getting it through the legs of Rowe there. Rowe making amends, giving away the throw-in.
Still pressure coming from Fresno as they push in these last seconds of the game.
Minimum of 4 minutes to be added on here at the end of the second half.
Yeah, that gives the Wild at least a little half chance of having some impact on the game.
Martinez. They get turned on it and given away on the far side. Blake. Elijah Martin coming forward here for Fresno FC, sliding in Qudus Lawal into the penalty area. Lawal, a couple of step overs, just as a swing at it comes off of Eric Holt. Now Lawal trying to turn towards that byline. A touch to it. Free kick to Real Monarchs.
Trying to do too much perhaps there, Qudus Lawal, instead of bringing in the other players, but that's what I guess happens when you're a sub with only a minute or 2. You want to have an impact. Frustrating for the striker who's scored a whole bunch of goals this season, 7 in 19. Might have felt that he could have come on a little touch earlier to have the impact that he would have liked to have had. In the greater scheme of things, even a draw here tonight for Fresno, when you look at the last 9 games, 7 wins, a draw and a loss. If you look at it over that period of time, it's still a fantastic run. If you take it in isolation, you look back and think, well, they had chances early in the game to have put it to bed. It dominated the first half completely. Not even one effort on goal at all by the visitors. Just wondering what happened here. We saw the referee rush off. Is there a head? Yeah, I think there's some clash of heads. Or
it's Martinez who stayed down, grabbing at his head. There's an aerial duel and any sign of a head injury, and the referee does have to stop play.
But this is sort of heading to an honorable draw. Certainly for Real Monarchs, this will be a fantastic draw away from home. Let's have a look. There's a bit of an elbow in the head just before there from Del Campo. I'm sure he's going to be all right. And certainly based on the first half, you'd have thought Fresno would be upset with this draw, but they might just turn away and say, hey, you know what? We're still, we're still losing very few games, and that's what it's all about. We'll take the draw.
As the seconds tick off here in second half stoppage time, imagine there'll be some more added on account of this injury here to Martinez. Real Monarchs trying to see out the result. We'll now have a drop ball as Rowe and Jamal Johnson trying to kick it off each other. He's here for Kurimoto. And now Ellis Hayden, been brilliant tonight. Wing back and now fullback.
Certainly has been. And we actually said early in the match that he was at fault for the goal against OKC that saw them go 1-0 down. Long ball in the box. He didn't deal with the header. And that he had to prove himself tonight. Well, he certainly has. At least they got back to win last week against OKC by 2-1. And tonight he's been wonderful with some great crosses into the box in that sort of wing back role. But I guess overall disappointment for Fresno fans who saw their team dominate, absolutely dominate the first half and maybe shared the spoils second half. So they might feel that 1-1 isn't a fair reflection.
Ellis Hayden towards Lawal. And a back heel to keep it in play and does so very well for Casillas. His cross takes a nick off of Powder on the way through. It is a corner for Fresno. We've had the minimum of 4, but we should have some extra stoppage time here.
Look at it again, great little back heel there. Not quite sure he meant it to go where it went, but either way, it was a good idea. This could be the last kick of the match. Can they do it from a set piece? 2 set piece goals in their last match against OKC.
And Kaffa towards that 6-yard area. The header to it from Del Campo, who just sent it glancing across. It did take a nick off a white shirt on the way through, as it is another corner.
Let's have a look. I thought Del Campo got the last touch. Let's have a look. He goes up and heads it. Did it come off the man behind him? Perhaps it did. Another corner, another chance from the set piece.
And the referee has now decided that he has changed his mind and awarded a goal kick, perhaps having a word with the 4th official and the assistant. And they come in together to give the goal kick to Real Monarchs.
Yeah, it was hard to see. I also thought Del Campo got the last touch. You couldn't see what happened behind him. The referee then takes advice from his linesman or his assistant referees. That's good refereeing, and only seconds left now in this match.
Better one there by Del Campo. And now played in behind, and away there was Palma before he could finish the chance. The full-time whistle sounds, and both of these sides will have to settle for the point. Jaime Chavez striking in the first half. Douglas Martinez with his 10th of the year in the second. And it finishes at Fresno FC 1, Real Monarchs 1.
Yeah, I'm sure Adam Smith is going to be frustrated. It's a first half in which his team should have been 2, maybe even 3 goals up. They absolutely dominated it. But second half, give Real Monarchs credit. They pushed up. There was much more of a high press. And they took the one or the few chances that came their way. Lovely finish from Douglas Martinez.
And here's our man of the match presented by El Mexicano. And you must say Zach Ellis Hayden was tremendous tonight.
He was. Some of the balls he put in were brilliant. For the goal, it was a great ball in. There was a couple of others that Chavez nearly got on the end of. I thought his wing-back play today was top class. Zach Ellis Hayden.
He provided the assist for the first and had more than a few more chances created as well. On the night, it's Fresno have to share the spoils. Now level in second with Reno, but Reno ahead on the wins tiebreakers. Here's our moment of the match presented by McCarty Insurance.
Chavez with a brilliant header near post. We mentioned that Zach Ellis Hayden ball in there, which was a fantastic ball, but what a header. gives the keeper no chance. Gets a shove in his back from his teammate for his efforts, but really is a brilliant, brilliant finish.
And you see the frustration from some of the Fresno players. They should have had 3 points tonight, dominated for 70 minutes, but then Real Monarchs striking from that goal through Douglas Martinez, and they have to share the point tonight. And your full-time score, Fresno FC 1, Real Monarchs 1. We're back with full-time highlights and full-time reaction when we return. Fresno FC 1, Real Monarchs 1 at full-time. Jaime Chavez, the first half goal for Fresno. Douglas Martinez, the equalizer in the second. And these two sides, which came into the night in the top 4 of the Western Conference, share the point. As we can now get to our BMW Save of the Game, brought to you by BMW. Stop by and test drive the all-new 2019 BMW 3 Series at BMW Fresno. It's Zach Ellis Hayden off the line.
Yeah, the header coming in here, and it's a scramble between him and CJ to try and get the ball, and Zach Ellis Hayden who has the save of the game. So he's the player of the game, he's got the save of the game. He goes home with all the awards.
If only he had the moment of the match, although I guess he was involved in the moment of the match as well as there. Kalen Ryden winning the header for Real Monarchs, causing the problem. And here's our Zoom image of the match, brought to you by Zoom Imaging Solutions, courtesy of Mark Davis. Fresno FC celebrating their goal.
Yeah, Chavez is the only one not in the group. He's the one who scores, and everybody else is celebrating. He sort of pops out of the group to point to someone or take some extra applause. But great, great header from Chavez. Brilliant, brilliant goal. Just felt there could have been 1 or 2 more from Fresno. As we'll see from the highlights coming up, they had the opportunities in the first half.
And that was our image brought to you by Zoom Imaging Solutions. And here, Fresno in our full-time highlights. Juan Pablo Cafa testing David Ochoa from a long way out.
Yeah, Ochoa, nice pair of hands, clean hands. And this is the ball from Daly. And this is the one where Chavez, for me, should have done a lot better. At least make the goalkeeper make a save. Instead, he sort of comes off the side of his head. Another big ball in here. And Daly this time could have either hit the target or squared it. Does neither. So you can see there are chances for Fresno to have scored more than the 1 goal they did score.
And here Elijah Martin would come forward, as the 2 wingbacks did for the first 65 minutes. Jamal Johnson's header, cranking his neck straight at Ochoa.
If it goes wide of the goalkeeper, maybe it goes in, but it didn't happen. Elijah Martin with a cross. Chavez doing really well here to get the head, and the keeper doing equally as well to make the save.
And digging it out, didn't he? Getting down to his left, well covered by the Monarchs goalkeeper Ochoa. Here the goal, Ellis Hayden, Chavez, 1-0.
Brilliant header from Chavez, absolutely stunning. Great ball in from Ellis Hayden, who actually made the space with a nice little dribble, whips the ball in. Chavez, fantastic.
Yeah, and his 4th goal in 3, his 7th of the year for Jaime Chavez. Here, the clearance off the line, we showed you the BMW save of the game, and here it is again. Header in from Kalen Ryden, and Ellis Hayden dealing with his post. That's why you put a man on the post.
Yeah, Absolutely, and the second half was shared. There was a couple of little chances for Fresno, but Real Monarchs certainly came back into it. That's an easy one for Ochoa to get a hand on there. Here Jamal Johnson's going to cut inside in his left and have a dip, and the goalkeeper's going to tip it around the post.
Much power in the strike.
Decent save. It just sort of goes under his hand slightly, but then they start coming forward, Real Monarchs. And it's a good ball in here for Martinez, who just makes a near post run. CJ comes out. It's drawn off his line. Can't get to the ball. No one in the goal, and the ball trickles over the line. A little bit of a sucker punch in a way, for Fresno dominated the game, but a good finish from Douglas Martinez.
And a great ball as well from Michael Chang, as here's another great cross in from Ellis Hayden, trying to find Chavez.
Nearly does find him as well. It's inches away from the big striker. Look at that, 16 shots on target for 4, in total, rather 7 on target. Just the 3 for Real Monarchs, all in the second half, nothing in the first half, and possession really can't read too much into that. But for me, Fresno dominating the first half, sharing the second half, but ultimately sharing the points.
Yes, indeed. It finishes 1-1 after Fresno had won 7 of 8 coming in, having to share the point tonight, but still a positive result for Fresno FC to go level with Reno 1868, second in the table, behind only on the wins and tiebreaker. Fresno FC have one more at home against Colorado Springs before a 3-match away trip, but tonight they share the spoils with Real Monarchs to get a positive away result. It finishes at full time. Fresno FC 1, Real Monarchs 1.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.